Well, we're past the 1st of July. Summer's in full swing here in the Lakes area. People are coming here in droves. And hey, they're driving here, and that's a good thing too, because anytime we can get tourism in the Lakes area, well, that's our bread and butter. But July 1st symbolized more than just the, well, full throes of the tourism season here in the Lakes area, for lack of a better term. On July 1st, many of the new state laws and state taxes took effect here in the state of Minnesota. And if by now you haven't figured out how they're affecting you, just wait. Of course, remember, this was all supposed to only affect the wealthiest Minnesotans. Well, let me tell you about a few of the other taxes you might not be aware of. Of course, a lot of people already know the top 2% wage earners in the state of Minnesota now pay a fourth tax tier, which now puts income taxes in the state of Minnesota the fourth highest in the nation, behind only Hawaii, California, and New York. Most people already know that, and most people in Minnesota probably didn't mind that the wealthiest 2% have to pay more in taxes. I think it actually only affects about 53 taxpayers in Becker County alone, to give you a number locally of what that means. And a lot of people are well aware of the cigarette tax, which, mind you, is not a tax on the wealthy, is a tax on the poorest wage earners in our state, in our country, because statistically the poorest wage earners are the ones who smoke. Most people know about that, and if you haven't been able to quit yet, well, Godspeed to you. I hope you can. That $1.60 a pack's probably killing you at almost $8. Most people are aware of that. But how about some other ones that maybe you're not quite aware of? And these ones, of course, are only taxes on the wealthy, right? At least that's what the prevailing party in St. Paul said they were going to do when they did these taxes. Here are a few of the new consumer sales taxes in the law. Now, a lot of these probably affect younger people. Younger people have a tendency to be on the lower end of wage scales. Just saying. Anybody that now downloads ringtones, music, videos, and books will now be paying sales taxes on these digital forms. If you have, your textbooks and stuff, you don't. This is the beginning of taxing on the internet. Something that, well, quite frankly, some people support, and generally I do too, but when you say you're only going to tax the rich, how can you justify that kind of a tax and say it's only on the rich? Businesses are also going to be paying new sales taxes too on warehousing and storage. Now, this has been delayed a year because of some huge problems with it. But and also cities and counties are going to be exempt now from sales taxes. So I don't know where the cities or the state thinks they're going to make up that money. Local government aid is going to increase for cities like Detroit Lakes. They're going to get $90,000 more over the next 2 years. There was a great article in the DL paper about it. Problem is, I don't remember there being an article in the DL paper 2 years ago when, under the Republican-controlled House and Senate, the city of Detroit Lakes got $140,000 more each year in local government aid. But I'm sure it was just a slight oversight on their part on that particular year. But here's the kicker. Here's the one that sticks me. In the transportation part of the bills passed, Becker County can face 2 new taxes, and it's up to our county commissioners whether or not we will. One would be a wheelage tax. Previously, a wheelage tax only existed in the 7-county metro. Now, under this law that went into effect July 1st in the transportation bill, all 87 counties in this state can impose a $10 wheelage tax if they like. It'd be worth several $100,000 here to Becker County. But here's the kicker. Now all 87 counties can actually institute, if they like, without going to the voters for public vote or public approval, quite frankly, they can institute, if they like, a half-cent sales tax. That would produce $1.7 million for Becker County. Now, that would have to be used for roads. Some people might think that's a great idea, but 2 points I want to make with it. One, if we do a wheelage tax and we do a tax, a half-cent for roads, is our levies actually going to go down, or will the county just simply shift money around and continue to grow as several other counties and several other businesses grow in too? About 6-7 years ago here in the state of Minnesota, there was a tax increase, and I can't remember if it was on tabs for cars or if it was a part of the sales tax legacy thing, but there was a tax increase, and Mayor Larry Bubolz was in charge here in Detroit Lakes at the time, and I remember he was very concerned about this tax because it was going to go to roads and infrastructure. But the way the wording of the law was worded, all the money could get diverted to the Twin Cities Metro. And apparently that's what's happened, because we're still having problems paying for roads in the state, and now they're just going to let every single county possibly tax themselves with extra sales tax to pay for roads again. Where are we actually seeing tax relief or reduction in taxes as a society? We're not. The state of Minnesota grew 8% in the last legislative session. Tell me another business that's grown 8%. Tell me another industry that's grown 8%. Government is growing right now, artificially inflating right now the state of Minnesota. And if something doesn't change soon and we don't wake up soon, I think we're going to be in economic collapse in Minnesota under the weight of our own social programs. And you're going to begin to see the desperation when the counties are going to start having to do these half-cent sales taxes on their own, being allowed to by the bills passed by the state of Minnesota.